Imagine being isekai'd into a world where everyone already loves you and swears you're the hero. Except, as far as you know, you just got here. That's the nightmare that Subaru is living right now. Because after losing his memories, Subaru doesn't just forget the people around him. He starts looking at Natsuki Subaru as if he is a completely different person. A hero everyone believes in, but one he is convinced he could never become. So Subaru becomes jealous of himself. With Season 4 Part 2 on the horizon, I thought this was the perfect time to revisit the entire series from the beginning, and Season 4 Part 1 shows that Subaru's identity crisis is much more interesting than simply giving his memories back. Through Julius being forgotten, Foxidna living inside Anastasia's body, and Amnesia Baru inheriting a life he doesn't recognize, Season 4 Part 1 forces us to ask, what actually makes someone who they are? Is it their memories, their name or body, or is it the people who remember them? By the end, identity is revealed to be more than memory. It's something built through the choices you keep making, and reflected in the people those choices changed. Julius proves that identity can survive being forgotten because even after the entire world loses every memory of his name, he continues making the choices that define him as a knight. Gluttony might have erased the man known as Julius Euculius from everyone else's mind, but Julius doesn't stop being Julius. He still remembers his values, his responsibilities, the people he wants to protect. So despite losing his reputation, his relationships, and basically every receipt proving he was ever important, he still joins the mission to the Watchtower. He still wants to save the victims of gluttony and lust. This is why the world forgetting Julius doesn't automatically turn him into someone else. His identity survives through the choices he continues to make. The problem is that when nobody remembers the person you spent years becoming, eventually you start wondering whether that person was ever real. And Reed makes that insecurity infinitely worse. After Reed completely suns him, Julius secretly returns to challenge him again and again and again, getting folded every single time. At this point, Julius isn't only trying to pass the trial for the squad, he's trying to prove that the forgotten man known as Julius Euculius still exists. Nobody remembers his achievements, nobody remembers his title. So Julius thinks surely one individual masterclass might finally make him feel like himself again. But Subaru carrying him away after the fight offers a completely different answer. Julius doesn't need to defeat Reed to prove who he is. Subaru sees him at his lowest and still values him anyway. For once, Julius doesn't have to uphold the image of the knight among knights. He allows someone to see his complete and vulnerable self. This makes it all the more cruel when Season 4 Part 1 takes even that away from him. When Subaru wakes up with amnesia, Julius realizes that the only person who still remembered him has now forgotten him too. Brother is sick to his stomach. Julius hasn't actually changed, but the final living connection to his old identity has suddenly disappeared. Subaru was the only person left who could confirm that Julius's relationships, achievements, and reputation had ever existed. Now, Julius is left carrying an identity that only he can remember. This is why being forgotten doesn't erase who someone is, but it can erase every relationship that once made that identity feel real. But Anastasia faces the opposite problem. Julius loses everyone's recognition while remaining the same person underneath. Anastasia keeps everyone's recognition while someone else controls the body they recognize as hers. She and Foxidna prove that identity can't be reduced to someone's name, face, or body because the person making the choices matters more than the body carrying them out. Subaru finds out that the person walking around in Anastasia's body is actually the artificial spirit he calls Foxidna. Meanwhile, the real Anastasia is asleep somewhere inside, while every moment Foxidna remains in control eats away at her life. And this is where Season 4 Part 1 answers the age-old question. Are you more than a
small waist, pretty face with a big bang?
Apparently yes, because everything the world uses to recognize Anastasia is still standing right there. Her face, her body, her name, and yet Anastasia herself is missing. Everyone can keep treating that face like Anastasia, but their recognition is being directed toward the wrong consciousness. Foxidna can imitate the external signs of Anastasia's identity, but she can't automatically inherit the person Anastasia became through her own choices. And then Season 4 Part 1 makes that distinction even messier. During Julius's first fight with Reed, Foxidna puts Anastasia's body on the line to save him, pushing herself so far that the body starts collapsing. That choice looks exactly like something Anastasia would do. After all, Julius is her knight. Of course she would want to protect him, but acting like Anastasia doesn't suddenly make her Anastasia. The choice still comes from a different consciousness, while the consequences are being suffered by a body that doesn't belong to her. If anything, it proves that Foxidna isn't some cheap imitation. She's developing an identity of her own. The problem is that her identity is being expressed through someone else's life. And that truth becomes even more brutal when Julius finds out. As Anastasia's knight, he is devastated that the woman he swore to serve had disappeared right in front of him and he never even noticed. Foxidna's face doesn't change after the confession. Her voice doesn't change, her body doesn't change. What changes is Julius's understanding of the person standing in front of him. The relationship he thought he was rebuilding with Anastasia had actually been middlemaned through somebody else. His connection with Foxidna might still have been real, but it wasn't a connection with Anastasia. Julius still knows who he is, but nobody else does. Anastasia is still recognized by everyone else, but she can't control the identity they're recognizing. And then Season 4 Part 1 takes every identity crisis we've seen so far and gives Subaru the worst of both worlds. Amnesia Baru reveals Season 4 Part 1's most brutal truth. The person Subaru became survives in the lives he changed and the choices he's still capable of making. But without his memories, that identity feels like the life of a man better than himself. Everyone knows his name, everyone believes in him, but he's the only person who has no idea why. When Amnesia Baru wakes up without recognizing Amelia or Betty, he thinks he has been transported into another world for the first time. That tripped me out. Except, this isn't the same isekai experience Subaru had in Season 1. Season 1 Subaru arrived in Lagunica believing that being summoned there automatically made him special. He thought the world had chosen him, that he was obviously the main character only for reality to tell him,
"You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy."
Nobody knew him, nobody recognized him, so nobody had any reason to believe he mattered. Amnesia Baru enters the exact same world from the complete opposite position. This time everybody already knows his name. Whether it's Amelia, Betty, or Julius, the entire group treats him like somebody important. That means Amnesia Baru has somehow managed to inherit the exact heroic life that Season 1 Subaru dreamed of having. If only it were that easy. Because Amnesia Baru is in for the rudest awakening imaginable. He has no idea how he earned any of it. To Amnesia Baru, Natsuki Subaru stops feeling like his own name. It becomes the title of some legendary hero everybody expects him to be. A man who apparently saved countless lives, built strong relationships, survived impossible situations. The Subaru standing there can't even remember meeting them. So instead of feeling proud, he feels like a fraud. Fraud Baru. He has the life Season 1 Subaru wanted in the palm of his hand, but he has no emotional claim over it. And that insecurity only gets worse when he starts treating the quote-unquote real Subaru like a completely separate person. After Meili is slimed out, Amnesia Baru finds the words Natsuki Subaru was here, carved into his arm like some sick joke. In real time, this has to be genuinely the most insane thing to discover when you're already losing it over whether this Natsuki Subaru guy is even you. Amnesia Baru starts believing that the real Subaru might have returned for a brief moment, taken control of his body and choked out Meili without him knowing. Then Ram looks him in the face and basically confirms his worst fear. You are not the real Subaru. And this is where memory loss becomes a full identity crisis.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
Amnesia Baru doesn't see his forgotten past as something he once experienced. He imagines Subaru as a separate consciousness, someone smarter than him, more capable than him, and potentially much more dangerous than him. At this point, his feelings toward the Subaru we know are a disgusting combination of jealousy and fear, because in his mind, this other Subaru apparently earned everybody's undying loyalty. He survived horrors Amnesia Baru couldn't begin to understand. He convinced Amelia, this silver-haired elven baddie, to trust him. He built a reputation so powerful that people continue believing in him even when he doesn't believe in himself. And instead of seeing those achievements as proof of what he's capable of, Amnesia Baru sees them as proof that he could never measure up to himself. The man everyone loves owns his name, his relationships, his entire life, while Amnesia Baru believes he's only the inferior, empty shell left behind. He's jealous of Subaru because Subaru has everything he wants, and he's terrified of Subaru because he has no idea what that beloved man is capable of. That's what makes Amelia finding him especially important, because when she tells him that she believes in him, Amnesia Baru can't accept it. Why would someone as bad as Amelia place that much faith in someone like him? Why would anybody? But Amelia doesn't give him his memories back. She can't hand over every experience they shared. It doesn't work like that. Instead, what she gives him is a reaffirmation of the relationship that survived those missing memories. She tells him everything they went through together. She tells him how much he means to her, and she tells him that she loves him. This is the confession we've been waiting for, and I'm absolutely here for it. For the first time, Amnesia Baru begins to understand why the real Subaru kept fighting. Not because he came into the world as some fearless chosen hero, but because he loves people enough to keep choosing them. And that is the most important thing Season 4 Part 1 is trying to say about identity. Amnesia Baru starts becoming Subaru again before his memories ever return. He doesn't take back his identity by remembering every achievement attached to his name. He starts reclaiming it by accepting his love for Amelia, by choosing to trust her, and by choosing to act on those feelings through the completely unreasonable goal of saving everyone, which is the most Subaru thing to do. The hero Amnesia Baru was so jealous of was never created by perfect memories. He was created every time Subaru chose to love somebody, every time he chose to trust someone enough to ask for help, every time he decided that saving one person wasn't enough. At first, Amnesia Baru believes that Natsuki Subaru is a better man whose life he has stolen. But by making those same choices, he starts proving that the heroic Subaru was never somebody else to begin with. Subaru was never just a collection of memories stored inside one body. He was the person who repeatedly chose to love others, trust them, and fight for them. His memories explained what he did. His relationships maintained the identity he built, but his choices prove who he is. And that's why Amnesia Baru isn't a reset of Subaru's character. He has quite literally nothing to be jealous of. He is the ultimate test of everything Subaru has become. He is Subaru. Strip away his memories, achievements, and even his confidence, and the same instincts remain. Trust the people around him, love them, and save everyone. Season 4 Part 1 doesn't ask whether Subaru can remember the hero he was. It forces us to ask whether he can choose to become that hero again, and somehow, before properly remembering anything, he already does. If you made it to the end, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think of ReZero Season 4 Part 1 in the comment section below. Also, it would mean a lot to me if you left a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe for more ReZero videos like this.